Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Verde Valley Experience. I'm your host, Jennifer Cohen. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. We really appreciate you. Great show today. Lots of wonderful people from around the Verde Valley will be joining us to talk about all kinds of great happenings. The first thing, I'm really excited. It's almost time for the Cottonwood Christmas Parade. That's happening on December 7th. Coleen Gilboy is in the studio. Yay! One of my favorite people to talk about it. The theme this year is Candyland Christmas. Now that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the costumes. That happens on December 7th from 11 to 2. You don't want to miss it. I haven't missed one since I've moved here. They're the best. Then we'll talk with author Robert Louis DeMayo. He is a world traveler and an author of 6 different novels, one of which is titled Sirens of Oak Creek. It was just released this month and it's already racking up awards. So I can't wait to talk to him. Very, very interesting man. Then from the Clarkdale Historical Society and Museum, Ruth Wicks will be here. She's the organizer of their In Their Own Words program. She's going to talk about that one, all the other new programs that are happening at the museum, as well as events and other things. There's so much going on at that wonderful little museum. I can't wait to hear all about it. Then we'll go on location, courtesy of our sponsors at Cat and Verde Links, to the Copper Art Museum in Clarkdale, and we'll talk with owner Drake Meinke, and we'll talk about how this amazing world-class museum grew from just one person's love of copper items. Just one person, one small collection grew into the world's largest collection of copper art you've ever seen. It's awesome. I can't wait to take you there. Then we'll have music from Brian Peterman. I love finishing out the show with musicians every time. It just makes my day to have these guys come in and perform. Brian, of course, no exception. He's amazing. He has this great blend of originals and covers. It delights audiences of all ages, and he has an incredibly packed performance schedule, so you have no excuse to miss him. He's all over the place. So we're going to hear what he's up to, especially this really cool event that's happening at the end of the month. So stick around. We're going to get started. We have Coleen Gilboy, the lovely and talented. Always wonderful to see you running a mile a minute. Actually, you'd probably run 1,000 miles a minute.
Seems like it.
So busy. Yeah, the Christmas parade is coming.
It's coming. It's coming.
That's exciting. December 7th, that's going to be here before you know it. Forget Thanksgiving. It's all about the Christmas parade. Just skip Thanksgiving this year and focus on the Christmas parade. I love the theme, Candyland Christmas. That's really great. There's going to be some great costumes this year.
I can't wait. I can't wait. There's so many cool things coming down. And, you know, it's a great way to start off the holiday season. So we definitely have to go through Thanksgiving. But then we have the Christmas parade and the chocolate walk, and then we can have Christmas time.
Absolutely. I'm seeing my neighbors are already decorating for Christmas. They took their jack-o'-lanterns down and replaced them with Frosty the Snowman. I was like, wow, so much for the turkey. You know, it seems to be the theme now. It's just a skip and go right there.
That's right.
So how are the floats looking? What numbers are we at right now?
We're at about 46, which is pretty average for this time. It seems like it doesn't matter how soon you get it out, July, the application. It's the last 5 days when people get them turned in. Oh, Thanksgiving is over. I guess the parade's coming, and it comes real fast. So we always take applicants right up until 11 o'clock on the 7th. I will take them. The announcers won't be able to talk about them and that sort of thing. But we definitely want everybody in our community in the parade.
Great, great. And so I know that there's entry fees revolving around commercial. If you're a commercial, you know, one of our special businesses in the areas, it's $40 to get in. A nonprofit is $20. So if it's just a family that just wants to come,
it would be considered a commercial business.
Be considered a commercial business.
Yeah.
Okay. The family is business.
It is business.
The more kids you have, the bigger the business.
So yeah, and it's just a great time, and most likely they could probably talk a business into sponsoring them or something. You know, partner with a business and that.
That's a great idea.
It's awesome things. I love it.
I have seen the last 8. In fact, I think I've emceed for the last 8, along with a partner as well, probably Jackie Bessler. I think he and this will be our 9th year. I
can't believe that.
9th year or something like that. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. I love it. And even if someone said, hey, you want to be in the parade? I'd go, no, because I want to announce the parade, because then I get to talk to everybody and see everything. And I'm always blown away by the floats and the creativity on how the theme is followed.
It's amazing. We really have seen an increase in the floats and the construction of the floats. It used to be, let's put some bows on here and let's go, and not anymore. They're definitely trying to win that best theme award, and so it's awesome. Habitat for Humanity, they've really stepped up the last 3 years. Arizona Smile Designers usually is in the top 3. Home Depot, the Cottonwood Youth at the library, they have brought it.
Wow.
I mean, these kids they've been working on it forever, and it's really exciting to see.
It is. It's great to see everyone get together and the community come together to watch it. If you want to see it, December 7th, this is when this is all happening. It starts at 11 and it lasts about till 2 usually. It's a good sized parade. And the parade begins at
11 a.m.
11 a.m. from the Verde Valley Fairgrounds?
Correct. We line everybody up there, and then we bring them down Cherry Street, make the left onto Main, and go all the way down through all of Old Town. So it's a great way, like if the kids are in the parade, the parents can go down, hang out in Old Town, do some shopping until the parade gets there, and then have lunch. That's what we usually do, is have lunch in Old Town, and then we go to the chocolate walk.
Oh yeah, what a great day. I think that's the best day of the year.
It is.
Yeah, Christmas parade followed by a chocolate walk. I mean, the organizers just like, you guys got it all going on that day.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. And I love that you'll accept floats up until 11, up until that point. So if you get your courage up, I know I speak to a lot of people and they go, oh no, come on, it's way too much fun. If you haven't been in a parade, it's way too much fun.
And it's a great way to see the community. If you're a business, it's an amazing way to get your name out there. You can promote your business. You can hand out stuff from your business, like, this is my business card. Come see me. Here's a candy cane. And just get out in the community. We estimate we have 1,000 people walking and riding in the parade.
Wow.
That's a lot. But that's nothing compared to what's on the sidelines.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a several mile distance.
2.25.
2.25, and in the 2.25, it's crowded. It's very crowded. People with their chairs and their dogs and their wagons, and you know they're parked in there, sitting in the backs of their trucks with all their kids. I mean, hundreds upon hundreds of people.
It is.
Every
It's
year.
great.
And I've been there through all kinds of weather, so it doesn't matter what the weather is. The parade goes rain or shine, snow or sleet.
We've done it in
85 degrees or 35 degrees. We've done it all, haven't we?
Yeah.
And the parade has never failed to just be outrageous and awe-inspiring.
Our best year was the year it was kind of rainy and then it snowed on us. And it really just kind of brought everybody like, oh, it's Christmas. It's snowing on the parade. And kids are like, can you do that again? It's like, no, I don't have control of the snow, but we'll try.
We'll try. Last year, I think it was 80.
It was warm.
It was very warm last year.
Yeah.
So we don't know what we're going to get this year.
No,
but we know it's going to be
we'll know
good.
on the 7th.
Well, yeah, there you go.
You know.
And that's only a few weeks away.
It's coming fast.
Oh, must be such a big job.
It's a great job. We have a lot of volunteers, and each person does their own aspect of it. So I have a judges person, I have a parking person, I have a setup person, so that I don't have to think of it all. I just try and make sure everybody's getting their things done, and then we all bring it together on the 7th and take off from the fairgrounds.
Just the timing of the floats was excellent. Last year was so good.
It was.
You guys really had it going last year.
Well, we finally have got it figured out. You know, it's taken a long time, but
gosh, how many are we looking at now? 65.
65 years of the Cottonwood Christmas Parade.
Wow.
I only know of one year that it was canceled and it was raining, pouring down rain, and it was a very hard decision, and it ended up maybe not being a great decision on our part because people travel here for the parade. They were set up on the road and it never came down the road. And so we now say it happens. And so people put plastic over their floats. They, you know, they change it up.
Absolutely. You got to do it.
Got to happen.
You got the Christmas parade's got to happen.
That's right.
There's just like no other option. So there's a judge's stand on the corner of Mingus and Main.
Well, normally there's a judge's stand, but there's some construction I saw today at lunch. And so now there's not going to be a judge's stand there. So I'm working on that right now.
Someplace else. It'll be someplace else.
It'll be someplace close.
There you go.
So we actually have announcer stands all throughout, which tell you who the people are. It's also listed in the Verde Independent ahead of time, and it's on the Verde website. So it's really nice, you know what business it is, what number you're at, how many there is. So I go down and I'm like, this is number 72, and then Santa's last, but there could be 5 or 6 in between there for those that come right at the parade.
Right.
And that.
Absolutely.
But we do have announcers like at Acme Pizza and Ink Impressions and down at Bing's in Old Town. And then wherever we have the announcer stand, kind of like maybe by Verde Independent, we're hoping we can use their parking lot. Because that construction zone kind of startled me today.
Oh, gee. Well, you're good. You're flexible. You can move around.
Yeah.
And the judges will be looking for things like best theme,
creativity,
most enthusiastic, creativity.
They want to see some, you didn't do what you did last year. What's different? And it doesn't have to be store-bought. I mean, it can be kids dancing, and having the kids dancing, that means so much. It means, what does Christmas mean for you? Like, really. Candyland Christmas, you can take that in. You can do the Candyland game. You can be popsicles. You can do any. You might be popsicles anyway, but lollipops is what I meant to say. It's just whatever Candyland Christmas means to you.
That's great. Now, if they want to sign up, they want to be their float, get it in the parade, what do they do?
They contact the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce on the website, and then there's the application there. They pay right there. They put all their words in. And don't put a red truck driving down the road. Put, I'm from the, whatever your business name is, and we give this, and we do this, and this is why we want you, this is why we want to be in the parade, And so give a description of who you are and what you do and why you love Christmas so much. Yeah. And then that's what the announcers read, and that's what you read on TV.
That's true. That's true. Awesome, Coleen. You're amazing. I applaud you. I am in awe of you every year, the things you can pull off. Of course, the Christmas parade is happening on December 7th. It starts at 11. You want to make sure you get down to Old Town for that. And if you want to be part of it, measure yourself to the Chamber of Commerce. All right. We'll be right back with more of the experience, so don't go away.
Regrow, repair, replace. Regenerative medicine is the process of creating living, functional tissues to repair or replace tissue or organ function lost due to age, disease, damage, or congenital defects. Dr. Forrest Lanchbury and the team at Sedona Regenerative Medicine specialize in finding relief for patients suffering from chronic pain. Contact Sedona Regenerative Medicine to learn about anti-aging medicines that will help your body heal itself. 928-282-2520 or SedonaRegen.com.
Solid Rock Fitness is a one-on-one fitness studio specializing in fitness over 50. I train older adults of all fitness levels, from athletes and avid sports participants to folks with chronic pain to those recovering from surgeries. You and I will focus on strength training to improve overall muscle tone, core conditioning, balance, agility, flexibility, and nutrition. Mastery of these components of fitness will help you live your life to the fullest with confidence and competence.
Start your journey toward better health with Ageless Touches Massage Therapy. Licensed massage therapist Richard Stevens uses the latest and best equipment to relieve scar tissue, electronic smog, and tinnitus. Ageless Touches does everything they can to work your issues down to the bone. Improve your path to better health with Ageless Touches Massage.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We're now here with local author Robert Louis DeMayo. He's prolific, amazing, a stack of books this high. It's so awesome. And a new release, which is very, very exciting. Robert, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I love your new book, The Sirens of Oak Creek. That is so interesting.
I've always been a little obsessed with the history and the legends around here, and it took me a while to get around to it, but to kind of pack it all into one story really meant a lot to me.
Oh, I bet. So let's talk a little bit about you real briefly, because you lived a life of an adventure novel. I mean, your life itself.
I just was restless when I was younger. I hit the road when I was 20, and in the 90s, I did 10 6-month trips abroad. And each one I would land on one side of a continent and fly out of the other. And it was the last 10 years before the internet. I hadn't realized what was kind of unique about it. And it was just a great time to see the world. It was affordable then. You could do India for $250 a month. Wow. I'd live in my tent in game parks in Africa for $350 a month.
Wow.
So I got to 100 countries, and that eventually landed me a job for the Explorers Club and Archaeology magazine.
I bet. Fascinating as you could put all that of your experience to work there.
It took a long time to kind of process it, I guess. It was, travel before the internet, you didn't really know a lot of things when you went to places. I did a lot of stumbling around, I guess.
That's the best kind of travel, though.
Yeah.
It really, really is. What drew you to Sedona after all your travels? You've been everywhere. Why here?
After 9/11, they closed the travel office my wife and I worked at. So we went up to Alaska with 2 young girls. We lived in a wall tent, became tour guides, and I came down here looking for winter work. So I eventually became a guide for a day in the West, and I then did their marketing and eventually general managing. And about 9 years ago, I decided to leave that to write full time.
And you did, right? You did.
I did.
No writer's block here.
No, some of them I had screenplay versions, but I wrote and published 5 novels in 5 years. And then I took 2 years off to let that catch up, and now I just finished The Sirens, and now I'm just working on a small novella.
Wow. Well, yeah, no rest for you. You just finished
Well, it's a
one.
nice thing about all the travel I did. I've got no shortage of material.
Oh, that is true.
And even with the book, The Sirens of Oak Creek, I just live and breathe history and legends, so it was easy to kind of put it all together.
Yeah, and I love that you've already won 3 national awards with The Sirens of Oak Creek, and it was just released this month.
Yeah. Well, I put in the contest beforehand, but I've been leading up to this.
Oh, now
Yeah.
we get to read it too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I love what you said here. It's told through the eyes of 8 women over a 1,200-year period, and it won the award for female empowerment. Now, that's really exciting.
I didn't start out that way. It just turned out that the characters tended to be, but you know, if you've got a cave and there's something in there, if say it's a treasure, you know, it just turned out that a Spaniard conquistador that stumbles on something that he might not handle it as well as say a Sinaguan woman might or something. So it just kind of grew on its own, I guess. You know.
That's a really different take, how you've done this with all these different women over this incredible stretch of time. It's a really new approach to writing. That's a really different story than you would normally see.
The novel has 4 books to it, so they're each at different times. And if you can imagine if someone told you about, say there's this cave, you go 6 or 7 miles down this one canyon, then up a side one, and there's a box canyon in the back, there's a cave. And if I told you there was an incredible archaeological treasure there, it might not spark interest. If I said, you know, that there's a wealth there, there's gold, that might get you. Or it could be that maybe if you go into this cave, you could talk to someone that's passed on. Like everyone's got different carrots that pull you forward. And really what interested with me is if I said where that cave is, you might say, all right, I'm going to go there. I'll bring my cell phone, I'll bring a couple friends, we'll go. But really the characters in my book, they didn't have that kind of protection. And if I woke you up at 4 in the morning and said, this is your only chance, would you walk 8 miles in the dark down a canyon and go into a cave to talk to your father who'd passed? Or would you do it only for gold? Like, it really draws things out of people.
Fascinating. Well, that's really neat. And you've got a whole bunch of other books. I mean, you've got 5 other books besides this one. The Pledge to the Wind, The Legend of Everett Roos. You want to tell us about that one? That's a good one.
That book really intrigued me when I went out here. Everett Roos was a young vagabond who came out west here in the early 30s, and he spent 4 years traveling around everywhere. He was very prolific himself. He wrote a lot of letters. I'd describe him as a cross between a young John Muir and Walt Whitman.
Oh.
Just a real unique soul. And if you think of the Southwest in the 30s, like Monument Valley, no movies had been filmed there yet. People didn't know about it. And it was during the Depression, so there weren't other people traveling there either. So he really had a unique experience. And his parents eventually published a collection of 88 of his letters, and I took them and turned them into scenes and tried to recreate his life. And he was in Flagstaff. He came down to Sedona. He painted a little bit here. Like, he was in this area. And for me, I like 1850 till about 1940. So that's in my window. After that, it just gets too modern for me.
I hear you. Yeah, I did notice that theme with your books. That you like that era, and that's a good era.
Yeah. Right after World War II, everything got a little bit more modern. You know, but.
That's true. Now, your other books, are they all in this same area too, or they branch out?
I've got a book about Teddy Roosevelt when he was 20 up in northern Maine. It's a coming-of-age story. The Light Behind Blue Circles is an African ghost story that involves a traveler in a 3,000-mile journey across Africa. Ooh. And then The Wayward Traveler is about my younger days when I traveled. And I did 10 6-month trips, and on each one I brought my journals with me, and I kept in the back what I called my list of rules. They were things that people had said to me that in one way or another had saved me. So I had a friend who was a screenwriter, and he challenged me to take each trip I did, pick one rule, and try to only use the material that came out of it.
Wow.
So like I drove from Brownsville, Texas to Panama, and the rule that saved me there was nobody move, nobody gets hurt. And I picked up a Vietnam vet right before I crossed into Mexico, and he goes, I got through Nam just on one rule. He goes, when things got really bad, I hunkered down and I said that. And in the next 6 months, 3 different times, that rule saved my life.
Wow.
So it took me 25 years to write that one. I still have a box of 30 journals from those days. And it wasn't until the internet that I could really look back and figure out where I went and what I did. And
wow.
So Yeah, so I'd like to write 10 novels. I think I got a couple more in me, but I'm hoping to slow down a little bit and enjoy them more.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. I don't know. It doesn't sound like you're slowing down at all, Robert.
Well, this next book's a novella, so it's only 100 pages.
Oh, okay.
You know.
What's this one going to be called? Do you have a title
This
yet?
one's called Pithecophilia. It's
Ooh.
a strange name. Pithecophobia is a fear of apes. Pithecophilia is a love of apes. And I've had a half dozen times where, like, I was lost in Sumatra in the jungle and got surrounded by orangutans. Wow. And, you know, I thought it was a tiger coming at me, and when from closer than me and you, an orangutan popped up right there, and I just dropped to the ground and started flopping around, and she walked around me and touched me, and a couple minutes later she made a hooting sound, and next thing you know, a bunch of other women and young orangutans surrounded me, and then they were gone. After 5 minutes they left, and I climbed a tree because I thought I was going to have to spend the night there. And about an hour later, once dark had fully set in, a guide with 3 people on an adventure tour came walking through. This is 4 hours walk in the national park where I was lost. Walked right under my tree, and I said, "Excuse me," and he almost had a heart attack. He thought I was a leopard or tiger. And I ended up following him out the next day. It was 9 hours to follow him out. But,
wow.
But I'd always wanted to write a little bit more about that, and same with seeing mountain gorillas in Zaire.
Wow.
So this is my chance to.
Oh, that's so great. I cannot wait to read it. I cannot wait to read it. Go to waywardpublishing.com. You can check him out there. Robert Louis DeMayo, it's absolutely awesome. Thank you for being here. Find his work on Amazon. You can check him out at the Sedona Library if you're around on December 12th. And, of course, all kinds of other things. If they go to your website, they can find out where your appearances are and your book signings. waywardpublishing.com. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
Thank you.
Breakthrough Medicine's Dr. Shada Sina offers comprehensive hormone testing and customized hormone therapy with a focus on lifestyle medicine, weight loss, allergy drops, brain and digestive health, seasonal detox, and nutrition. Dr. Sina is a referral physician for Suzanne Summers, specializing in bioidentical hormones for men and women. Breakthrough Medicine is located in Cottonwood's Hot Yoga Plaza. Call for a 15-minute complimentary new patient consultation, 928-649-0269, or visit online at breakthrough-medicine.com.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, honeys, teas, cookies, and even CBD for pets. Ready to feel fantastic? Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging uses a state-of-the-art medical digital camera to take a picture and create a map of the body's infrared patterns, later interpreted by an MD specially trained in reading thermography. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging is the leading medical imaging and proactive healthcare, detecting early danger signs years before other tools, finding early breast disease up to 8 years before mammography may detect it. Schedule a scan with Carol today. Northern Arizona Thermal Imaging. Say yes to thermography.
And welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. Now from the Clarkdale Historical Society and Museum, we have with us Ruth Wicks. She is a First Friday organizer, amongst other things. You do a lot for the museum, I know, so as any volunteer does.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, I'm a fill-in person. The executive board people were unable to come today, so they asked me if I would do this, and I hope I can do a good enough job because there's so many things going on.
There are so many things going on at the museum. Go to clarkdalemuseum.org. If you go there, you can find a list of all the things that are going on, but there's just so much. What's been happening?
Well, you know, they reorganized. Marshall Whitmire and his wife from Camp Verde came in, and the executive committee, 8 people, spent I don't know how many hours working on reforming the whole thing, and I think it clarified their mission and what kind of goals that they wanted. So from that, we've started programs for preschool, like 3-year-olds and their parents can come in to the museum and see the town that Mr. Clark built, and they have activities so that they're training young people right away to know how wonderful a museum can be. And then they're working with the 3rd graders from Clarkdale Jerome School, giving them history books and coloring books on Mr. Clark, because they're all going to school in Clarkdale. So those are ones for real little ones. But then in November, we're going to have 3 authors of 3 different books. I don't know if you have the names of those books. Of course, did I get the names? But one is like, they're on Saturdays, and they're from 12:30 to 2. And the first one's going to be on Jerome, on the ghost town part. And then there's going to be one on Tuzigood. A gentleman, I think, has taken pictures in the history of Tuzigood.
Wow.
And then the third one is, I think, on Oak Creek, but then I don't know. And the authors will be there to sign books so that you can buy books. Or if you have those books, they'll go ahead and sign them for you. Those are all brand new programs, hot off the press, as it were.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I know that you've been working hard on the In Their Own Words program.
Yes, that was a really good story. So the building's really tiny, and downstairs is where the archives are. Well, they discovered a box of books that the town itself had given the Historical Society of pictures. Well, nobody knew who was in these pictures. So they had a time when they invited anybody from the community to come and look at the pictures. Well, from that, there was just such a interest. 25 people would show up, and they'd just get the biggest bang, because then one person would remember one person, and then another would,
Ooh.
And so out of that, we decided, Edith Lindner is the coordinator of it, Isabel is over it. They all have all these different titles, but I forgot all those titles. Anyway, so what we do is we get people who have interesting stories about this area and invite them to come in on a first Friday from 10 to 12 to the men's lounge. And the event is free. We have coffee and cookies, and it's very, very pleasant. And so we've had, let me see, I was trying to think, last time we had the 1012, which of course is the old bar. Carrie has the present 1012, but the Peckridge family was the family that started that. So they had one on the 60th anniversary of that bar.
Wow.
And they had all the old pictures of all the, because that was a hot spot in Clarkdale.
Still is.
Yes. Next month, Jane Russell Winnecke, who's the past chair of Yavapai Apache Nation, is coming, and she's speaking about her father, Nate Russell, who grew up in Clarkdale.
Wow.
So Doug Von Gossage is in January. He's going to be the river, the Verde River.
Yes.
So it's just a lot of a variety of people.
Yes, there's always a lot going on for a tiny little museum. It's about as big as this studio.
Exactly. Well,
But
it's a lot cleaner probably.
Than the studio?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan. But you pack so much in there. I'm always amazed every time I go in there at how well it's organized so that you can have all these things and you can have all these different happenings and different sections for different things. And
right. Well,
photographs are my favorite.
We've been fortunate with these programs that a lot of new people moving into the area really enjoy it. Now they're volunteers at the Historical Society.
Yeah.
So I think we have 10 or 15 brand new volunteers.
Wow.
Speaking about coming to the museum, there's a big Christmas display of ornaments and Christmas decorations from 1912 to 1955.
Wow.
And it's going to be, I think it's like the 6th and 7th, a Friday and Saturday, but of course they can go on the website and find, and the place is, I guess, decorated to the hilt.
Oh, nice. ClarkdaleMuseum.org, more information there. Now tell us about your need for a volunteer coordinator. You've got all these new volunteers. Now you need a coordinator.
Well, I guess if you have a lot of people, I guess they do need direction. I think the Historical Society is in a period of growth, and so it's like, well, you used to wear 10 hats now. Now you only have to wear 8.
Yay.
Yeah, which 2 are you going to give up? Or, and then how do you do that and not feel like, oh, maybe somebody's taking something away from you personally.
Sure.
So I think we're sort of maybe in a little growing pains right now, and I think maybe having a coordinator would maybe assist in that whole process, because we want people to have fun. and enjoy it. And we like to socialize, so it's a very meaningful thing. We don't want to destroy it for those people.
Sure, and finding the right people and then the right people to help those right people do the right thing is always great. If you've got any interest in that, 928-649-1198. That's the number to call for the museum, 649-1198. Or you can go to clarkdalemuseum.org. They can contact you through the website as well.
We're trying to work to get the mastodon back. We have a image, mastodon, where the sea is in Clarkdale?
Yes.
Well, that they found a mastodon. NAU's archaeology team found it.
Get out.
Yes, in the 50s.
Wow.
Well, they sent it back to some museum in New York. So we're going to try to see if we can get a bone or part of it. But this area used to be a swampland.
Yeah. Wow.
So they're just, I know, they're just a lot of neat things.
Wow, Ruth, that's amazing. Just the little town of Clarkdale. So much going on. Go to clarkdalemuseum.org to find out more. Thank you for being here, Ruth. Appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
Welcome back to the Verde Valley Experience. We are now here. I'm like verklempt. I'm in this room. We're at the Arizona Copper Art Museum. We're here with Drake Meinke. He is the director over here. I'm speechless in this room because copper is one of my favorite things, but apparently I'm not alone.
That's true.
Copper is a popular item with a lot of people and for very good reason.
Yeah, people enjoy the metal very much. It's considered the beautiful metal. And one of the reasons people like it for their homes, it adds color to the house and so forth.
For sure, and warmth, and it's gorgeous, and it lasts forever. So tell us a little bit of background about the museum, because you've been here since 2010, correct? That's when you opened?
Yes, pretty much right at the centennial. We opened for the Centennial of Arizona, 2012. And we showcase what happens to copper and why people want it. And in the museum, you'll see that evidence when you go through.
Mm-hmm. Now, as we look around, we're in the kitchen room right now, but there's 8 other rooms?
We have 7, 8 rooms that we showcase different subjects or topics in the museum here.
Right. You have the architecture room. This is the kitchen room. You have what other rooms?
Military art. We have the drinking room. We have the distillery room, a favorite amongst many. We have small displays on bathrooms and, of course, information and introduction as well.
Well, there you go. If you follow the copper footprints through the museum, it leads you to the best tour, which I love. It starts with a little information. Now, the focus here is on art It's not on mining, because there's plenty of great mining museums out there, but this is about art, and there's no other museum like this in the world.
Not about the metal copper, no. So this is pretty much the only one, and we showcase that story of why people want it, how they turned it into things for both purpose and to put on the shelf as an art object or something like that.
Right, and you said you've got over 5,500 items in here.
Yes, about 5,700 items. In the last year, about 600 came in last year and so forth. So we're very robust on getting new artifacts into the museum, and they're coming from pretty much everywhere in the world.
Right, yes, which I found really interesting. It's even though there's a lot of things that quite possibly came from this area, Clarkdale and Jerome, there's also things from Europe. And things, your oldest item you said was 3,500 BC.
Right, we have some Bronze Age artifacts in the museum, short swords and typical things of that time frame, plus indiscernible bronze artifacts, and about 70 of them came in this year. Just sort of odd things, but quaint and things that date to that time frame.
Well, certainly, and that's really, really cool. And you don't think of, wow, things like that here in Clarkdale. I mean, we're right off of Main Street in Clarkdale. We're in the old Clarkdale High School.
Yes.
It's great use of this building.
Yeah, it's a great repurpose of the building. Old high schools have tough times. You'll see them in towns across the United States and wish they had better days. We repurposed this old high school into a museum, which is a super tribute to an old high school building, and a tribute to the town, a town where copper begins. We now show the end of that story, and this is the reason those people were working so hard in this town 100 years ago. Here's the evidence.
It's gorgeous, and of course it was used highly in electrical work.
Certainly.
As the entire United States was electrified, they needed the copper wire. Copper was very sought after, and then wow, you can cook with this stuff, and boy does it do a good job, and guess what, it's pretty too. We can do all kinds of other things. I mean, I don't think there's one thing in here that exists that I haven't seen. It's made out of copper.
That's right.
You got everything in here.
Yep.
From top to bottom, soup to nuts. If it's made out of copper, it's in here.
Yeah, copper made just about everything in history, and that's really because copper was the only metal available in your kitchen. Now, cast irons, it's a little bit of age to it, but not that old. So since ancient Egyptian times until the discovery of about 1900, actually, well, you cooked on copper or you just didn't cook much.
Now, you mentioned repurpose. I
Yes.
love you've repurposed this building, but you also repurpose the things in the building, such as the windows from the mine were used here in your display cases.
Well, we came up with these display cases you see throughout the building, and what we did is we took old smelter windows from the industrial buildings and then repurposed them into display cases. The glass is new, of course, and it's the same window that's on this building, so this sort of comes together. So what do we have here is we have sort of a time capsule. 100 years ago, somebody was standing on the other side of this very window in Clarkdale, and there's the evidence of what happened to that copper. So they sort of are a great tribute to the area and great for the museum. They're wonderful display cases.
They are. You've thought of everything in here, Drake, from all the metal work that's done, from all the different pieces everywhere. All this stuff has been done here in-house. You know, Drake mentioned earlier he polishes these pieces himself. You should see his hands. They're kind of black.
They kind of are.
And they look like workman's hands. You
Yeah,
can see
they
that. Now, if you want to come, you're open every day except for Christmas, Thanksgiving, and
New Year's.
And New Year's. Other than that, you can come on over to the museum.
10 to 5.
10 to 5. It's very inexpensive. $8 for adults.
$8 is reasonable and very good, and especially for young children. If you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, $1 for a young child is a great price.
$1. Where can you take your kid to the museum for $1? And it's not one of those museums where somebody glares at you and stares at you. Like, you could reach out and touch that pot because it's right there and you can look at it. Wow, look at this and look at that, and everything's labeled nicely. It's not one of those museums where you don't want to touch anything or you're afraid to breathe.
Right, that's one of the, that's exactly what it is. You can come here, and if your child touches an artifact in the museum, that's perfectly okay. We encourage touching in this museum. It's a learning experience. You learn with your hands as well as your eyes. So, absolutely. And you can't do anything to the copper, so you're safe.
I know, I picked up one little thing. It was this big. I was like, oh my God, this weighs so much. It's incredible. And you have a website?
Yes, we do. CopperArtMuseum.com is our website, and anybody can find it. Just type in on a Google search, Copper Museum, and you'll find it.
And it comes up, Arizona Copper Art Museum. Go online, check it out. All the history and the story is actually there. If you read that before you come, you will have a much bigger appreciation for what Drake has done here. Drake, I bow to you. The copper gods are bowing to you. It's my favorite museum in the world, I have to tell you. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, people really enjoy this museum. Yeah.
I keep up the good work. It's awesome. I'm going to go look around. We'll be right back with more of the experience, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Given up searching for love, thought I'd had more than enough. Then you walked in, and the rest of my life is beginning all over again. Still can't believe how we met. It's a day that I'll never forget. Uncomplicated, two hearts related, love made it all over again. You don't have to ask me to stay. I'll never be too far away. You're my love and my friend, and the rest of my life is beginning all over again. You don't have to ask me to stay. I'll never be too far away. You're my love and my friend. The rest of my life is beginning all over again. You're my love and my friend, and the rest of my life is beginning all over again.
Oh, I love that song. Brian Peterman, everyone. I really love that song. That was just delightful. An original, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just the best. Oh my gosh. If you want to hear more or know where Brian's going to be playing, go to Facebook.com/bpmusic.com. That's where you want to go, because you're going to need a pencil to catch all this information. So just go there with your pencil and your pen, because you're playing everywhere. For the month of November, we've got you all over the place. Alcantara, Poco Loco and Bella Vita, and then Judy's at the end of the month. I mean, you just, wow, you never sit. Well, you do sit when you play. You never sit otherwise. And Stronghold, and where else? What did I miss?
I think that's about it for.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of places.
Keeping me busy.
Yeah, regular gigs too.
Yes. I play every Wednesday at Poquito Loco in Old Town and every Thursday at Bella Vita.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, that's great. It's always nice to see someone with a regular gig. And you can tell why, because your music is lovely. I mean, you've got this great mix of all these amazing originals, this huge repertoire, and then you also do wonderful versions of covers. I like your take on certain covers, too. The way that you do it in your own way really changes the song. And if I didn't recognize the words, I would not always recognize the song, because you have this wonderful take on it that makes it so fresh. That's nice. When, there's a lot of people that play covers, but when you can make them fresh and make them your own, and then suddenly, everybody's really listening again, even though they've heard that song, 1,000 times before, and now it's new. It's just a great talent of yours I've seen. So, not to make you blush, she's blushing. So tell us, what else has been going on in your world?
Well, I quit fishing after 47 years, and instead of being in Alaska in the summertime now, I've been playing up in Flagstaff and Williams.
All right.
Which has been really fun for Oak Creek Brewery mainly. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Keeping you close to home.
Yes.
That's good. We didn't like sharing you with Alaska. So glad you're here. Yeah, fishing. Wow. You look pretty good for having fished that long. Fishing's a tough life.
Still got all my parts.
You do, all your fingers, they're all there. Which is amazing for a fisherman. Do you have any songs about your experience as a fisherman?
I have lots of them.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. Now that song, you wrote that one.
Yes.
What's it called?
All Over Again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was one of the more recent ones that I've written. So.
Well, that's great. And I know that your gig coming up at Judy's on the 30th, Judy's is in Sedona, you're going to be doing all original work.
Yes, for about from 5:30 to 8:30.
Wow, that's a lot of work stuffed in there.
Yeah, I'll probably end up doing about 30 songs or so.
Nice, nice.
It's fun. I'll do some of my fishing stuff and just different things.
Very cool. I like that. Now, you've been playing since you were single digits, I think, teenager?
Yes.
Yeah. Long time. Did you took your guitar on the boat, I assume?
I used to until I beat it up too bad.
Right. The sea and guitars don't really blend very well together. I know this, but you can tell. You sit there so comfortably and you're so seasoned, and there's very little effort it takes for you to have a song come out of you. It just does. And that's the sign of a very well-seasoned musician. Someone who just naturally, and it just happens. I can't even sit in a chair with as much grace as you sit there and play a song. So.
You're too nice.
So when you're working on songs, you take from stories in your past?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what else when you're thinking, what strikes you all of a sudden, I got to write this song?
It's usually just some sort of experience, or sometimes I'll just be practicing some other song and I'll come up with a different chords or kind of a melody will come around, and I'll come up with the melody first and then find the words for it. Like the last song that I wrote that song about 20 years ago, the melody, and just came up with the words for it last year.
Wow.
So it was kicking around a long time before I found the right words for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's very cool. It's always neat to see inside a songwriter's mind on what your process is, because everybody's a little different. And that's very cool. The melody popped in first, because I know some where it's a lyric, it's just a phrase, and then there's a song next to it, or it's a note, and that inspires something.
Most songs start with, if I can just come up with the first line, then it just goes from there.
And then it just goes from there.
Right.
Very cool. So. The next song that you're going to play for us is also an original.
Yes.
What's this one called?
It's called A Silver Feather Earring.
Ooh, I like this. So this is a memory or a happening in your life?
Yes, from a while back.
Wow, I love the storytelling abilities that you have. When you're speaking, and I can envision this, and I can be there with you during that memory, and it's a very nice feeling. Your songs all have a very nice feeling. So if you want to see a musician that just makes you feel good, Brian's your guy.
All right.
Facebook.com/bpmusic.com. That's where you want to go. There's a list like this. It's like this long. It takes up the whole page of everything he's doing just this month alone. It's crazy. But definitely check out Judy's in Sedona on the 30th, because that's where we're going to get the delight of listening to all your original stuff and really get to know you. That's one thing about your music. We get to know you through your songs, because they're all parts of you, which is great. You know, it's not, nowadays musicians are writing about weird things, just things that have no relation to themselves at all, and it creates this disconnect with the audience. And a lot of us are looking for that connection with that musician, and you do an excellent job of creating that with your stories and with your music and your lyrics and your wonderful playing. So, and this one didn't go on the boat, because it sure looks like it did.
Well,
you've been playing this one a long time.
It's 1971.
Wow. So. Well, then she's in beautiful shape. We all have wrinkles when we're from that age, you know. Well, that's wonderful. It doesn't seem like you're doing any slowing down. Life is just keep rolling along. Just keep playing more and more. Every time I see you, the list of those gigs gets longer and longer per month. You have an excellent PR team and management team behind you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yay, Lauren. We have to give Lauren huge kudos, because she's amazing. So, well, super. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to see you. Thank you for delighting us with your original music. Again, Judy's on the 30th. You want to hear this. And thank you all so much for watching the Verde Valley Experience. We always appreciate you. You can check us out on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel at verdevalleytv.com. You can watch it over and over again. You can share it to your friends. I know you want to do that. Otherwise, I'll see you again next time.
Silver feathered earring made by Navajo, shining behind her golden hair. Early autumn evening, the moon's rising slow, feeling love in the air. And it's the freest time, her hand in mine, walking through the trees, loving in the leaves. Walking the railroad tracks, winding by the shore, wondering what's around the bend, wishing this girl by me would love me some more, willing to fall in love again. 'Cause it's the freest time, her hand in mine, walking through the trees, loving in the leaves. A silver feathered earring made by Navajo, shining behind her golden hair. Early autumn evening, the moon's rising slow, feeling love in the air. And it's the freest time, her hand in mine, walking through the trees, loving in the leaves.